Welcome back to The Inspired Entrepreneur with Heather Hope. Hi, guys. Welcome back. This is Heather Hope. Welcome back to the Inspired Entrepreneur podcast. I don't know. I keep wanting to call it something else. It's weird. The podcast gets me. Okay, so welcome back. Today is Wednesday. Wednesday, November 18th. And this is The Inspired Entrepreneur. And the book, by the time you hear this, I probably don't have it yet, but I'm receiving the book on Wednesday. So today I should be getting my proof. So I'm excited. It's big, you guys. I already know it's big. It's I hope it's good. I hope it's good because it's a big guy, which I don't terribly mind because it's not like something that, you need to carry around with you. It's just something that you can put on your desk and flip to. Something that would be kind of cool would be to get one of those book stand or book, what are they called? Like where you sit your cookbook in, or where you put your like decorative plates. That sounds so old. I don't have decorative plates, guys, but you know what I mean? And then sit it on your desk and have it to the page that it is, the day that it is. How's that sound? That sounds like a great idea. I think I'll do it. You can buy them at the dollar store for $1, obviously, but that's kind of cool. Okay, so November 18th. This one's a good one, guys. This one, I laughed when I flipped to it or scrolled to it because I don't have my book yet. But because I like this one a lot. I like this one a lot. Back in, okay, so I have been to 7 Abraham Hicks workshops. And I love going to them. They are so much fun. Let me know if you have been to a workshop or if you want to. I went to 7 of them. I went to, how many in a row? 1, 2, 3, 4 in a row. And I had plans on going to 6 in a row. Wait, 6? No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I went to 5 in a row. I went to Phoenix in 2019, December 2019. And then I went to San Diego the first weekend of January of this year. And then I went to LA, and then I went to Long Beach, or one of those orders. I don't know which one it was. Long Beach, LA, whatever. And I think it was LA. It was San Diego, LA, Long Beach. And one of my clients went with me for Long Beach, drove from Phoenix to LA. We stayed in LA and drove down to Long Beach. That was really cool. And I love going with clients. It's so fun. I went to LA with 2 clients, 2 people. I hate calling people clients when they're like basically friends of mine. You know what I mean? But they're in my programs and stuff. So, yeah, met up with them because 2 of them live in LA. And they were both first timers. It's so fun to go with somebody for the first time to a workshop. Anyway, fun stuff. It is so cool. I love it. The part that the joys in the journey. Okay, that's not what today's message is. But today, when I got to my computer and was like, my books are done. I'm just waiting for the proofs, right? And I'm like, gosh, that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. Like the process was fun. It was cool to figure it out and do it and all of that, editing and getting creative and all that stuff. And I'm sitting here again. I've been through this so many times where it's like, oh, it's done. It's like it's manifested now. And I'm just like, the joys in the journey. God, it so is. So then you just work on the next thing. So, but it's like once it's done, it's done. And then it's like, okay, now I got a book on Amazon. Okay, cool. You know what I mean? And so you just keep progressing. You just keep doing more. You just keep doing more. But the joy is in the journey. I know it's in the book somewhere, but I learned that so many times now in the last couple of years that the joy is in the journey, because by the time it manifests, it's old news and you're like, okay, cool. Because you've been working towards it for a while. And then when it finally manifests, you're like, awesome. That's literally how it is. Some things could be more exciting. You know what? Like occasionally something is like really cool and then it's like, and then it wears out. And then it's like, okay, cool. What's the next thing? It is so like that. It's so like that. It's so funny. It drives me nuts sometimes because it's like, especially something that I've been working towards for a while and then it finally manifests and it's like, oh man, now what? That's awesome that it manifested, but now what do I do? Anyway, okay, so my point is, well, I have a couple points, but going to, so I would spend, okay, Phoenix obviously is close to me, but California is, let's see, LA from my house is about 7 hours. And my house to San Diego is about 5.5 at the most hours. So it's not that bad of a drive at all. It's I have driven to California so many times in the last year or two. It's insane. But we actually are overdue for a trip. It's just Jesus, going to LA right now would not be fun because it wasn't fun when we were driving to and from, or I was driving to and from back in April and May. Like you can't stop anywhere to use the bathroom. It was an issue. It's probably worse. I mean, it's probably the same in LA right now than it was back a few months ago. It was tough doing a road trip in the middle of COVID when all the bathrooms are shut down. Like here, bathrooms are not shut down. I don't know if they were in the past, like when everything was like new lockdown stuff. But doing a road trip in the middle of pandemic, it was rough. So one of my trips back, I was like, I drank the least amount of fluid I could in that. It was like 9 hours from, well, no, it was less because there was no traffic. There was no LA traffic when I was driving. It was so nice. But because everybody was home. But anyway, the joys in the journey and all my trips to the workshops, at least, I would be there for at least 2 or 3 nights, probably 3 nights if I remember. I don't know. And it was the trip there because I love driving and I love driving to California. Staying in the hotel, I stayed at like suites and, you know, like embassy suites and stuff where they used to have, you know, the happy hour and the snacks and the nice buffet and all that stuff. I doubt that it's there now, but, and like the whole journey was so much fun for me. Like getting out of my house, being alone, driving, being in California, going to an Abraham workshop, all of that was so fun for me. And all of that for a 3-hour workshop. You know what I mean? It's like, it took me hours to get there. I was there for a few days. It took me hours to get home. All of that for literally 3 whole hours of a workshop. So it's like, everybody's like, oh, it's so awesome. And I'm like, literally, like the joy is for me is in the whole journey, the whole thing. Cause I had so many like good ideas on the road trip and all this stuff. So anyway, my point was for that was joys in the journey. But my point before that is December at the Phoenix workshop. I have a really good memory of where I heard different pieces from Abraham, which workshop it was. If I had heard it in a workshop, it's like I can pinpoint exactly where it was. But there was a thing, and it's relating to today's message. Long story short here. Abraham said, we talk way, 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 way too much. We talk too much. We talk too much. And so today's message is talk less, receive more. That's it. 4 words. Yes, I put 4 words on a whole piece of paper. It's one of the only times I did that. But you know what I mean? November 18th, talk less, receive more, period. That's it. But it's a nice reminder. Talk less, receive more. So talking less. Now, the whole thing of Abraham saying that we talk too much is we talk ourselves, like we talk too much. And this is law of attraction. We talk and then we just keep talking. And then we end up sometimes, or a lot of times, or all the time, talking about things that doesn't allow things to come to us easily. Does that make sense? Kind of like I've always like, it's like we tuck ourselves into the ditch down, off the road into the ditch, down the field, like off track, because depending on what we're talking about, especially if we're venting, and then law of attraction just brings us more of whatever we're focused on, right? So we talk too much. Now, so the thing is, when we're talking, it's like we're limiting a lot of what we could receive. So we receive when we're kind of quiet, when we're just kind of in the moment, receiving. Does that make sense? We're receiving. We're receivers, right? But when we're talking, it's almost like a step one. I don't think that's very accurate, but it's kind of like the idea of step one, asking, right? It's almost like talking is similar to asking, and there's not a whole lot of receiving, which is step three, right? Of, so we're talking, sometimes good ideas can come through talking, depending on what we're talking about. Like so often, like over the last 3 years, I would have to, there'd be times where it's like, I really need to talk to Roger, my husband, because I want to talk about something. I want to, to talk it out, usually about my business, because I know that he's a good sounding board. Like he doesn't interject anything, like any beliefs or usually he doesn't have like his opinion about it. He's not one of those outspoken people. And that's probably a reason why we get along so well, because if he was, my ex-husband was kind of outspoken and annoying and absolutely stupid. So, but like, because it's kind of like, I just want somebody to just listen. And sometimes he'll say something and then it kind of directs me of like, yes, that's what I kind of wanted to get to or discover. So yeah, when I do want his opinion, it kind of gets a little rough because it's like he really has to think about it because he's used to not talking a whole lot. He's a pretty quiet guy, very quiet guy. So talk less, receive more. Let me know how that feels. Let me know if you realize that you're receiving, like when you get quiet, when you meditate, when you just sit quietly, when you're not distracted, right? Receiving the thoughts, receiving the impulse, receiving, I was at the store tonight and I had to go to the bathroom. And so then I come out. Well, the first thing I wanted to see was this particular planner. It's for next year. I had my eye on it last time I was there, and it was sparking my interest today. So I really wanted to go there today. It's like 40 miles away from my house. I wanted to go there and look at it because I thought it was cool. So I went there and looked at it, and it's like too colorful for me, like too it just seems kind of childish. I like the idea of it, but it needed to be like a little bit more professional. So that's really what I'm going for. But so then I went to the bathroom. Okay, whatever. So I come out and I'm like, that's all I needed to look at that particular store. But then I thought, you know what? Maybe I'll just walk through. Maybe I'll check out like something. I'll go look at the vegetables. Yeah, this is what happened, guys. I'm like, because my dog, we make vegetables for my dog. Part of his food is mixed vegetables that are frozen. And so I'm like, because I didn't get it at the other store because they didn't have him. So I went over there and they didn't have any that I needed for him. And then the hash browns were right there. And I'm like, oh God, it's been on my mental list for like weeks to get hash browns. Like they're not usually anything I would ever buy, but on Weight Watchers, it's like something cool that I can mix in with some eggs and it sounds so good. And it's like 2 points. So I have so many breakfast variations. It's really pretty fun. But so I'm like, oh, awesome. It was right there. Hash browns. Perfect. It's just one of those things where it's like, it happens all the time. I just allow myself to just be guided. through the store, just like be guided. Like I'm not thinking a whole lot. I'm just going down an aisle or think of something. And then I go and then I see something else that I was like, oh yeah, I completely forgot for weeks now. Okay, so I get the hash browns. I'm like, oh, awesome, this is fun. And so I'm going down another aisle. I'm just walking and I'm walking and I'm like, um, I walked past the pet aisle and I noticed that they had birdseed. And I had just went to Walmart and I was looking for birdseed there, but it wasn't cheaper than my store up here, which was odd. I'm like, what? Walmart's not cheaper? That's really strange for me. So, because I need bird seed. And so I walked over and it's like this insane sale, like 20 pounds for $7. I'm like, oh my God, that's such a good deal. It's like a fraction of what I've spent. So I'm like, okay, oh my God, that's so awesome. So I'm like, I got to go get a cart. So I had to go all the way up to the front, get a cart and come back. But I'm like, I just allowed myself, I had the impulse of like, don't leave right away. Just kind of stay for a minute. And I found two things that are like on my list. And I was really happy about that. So then I get the cart, I get the bird seed, I have my hash browns. And then I pick up a couple other things. I go and get apples so I don't have to stop at this store up here. I don't like shopping up here anymore. I try to not shop locally. Yeah, this sounds terrible. How they say shop small, shop local. No, I don't want to do that anymore. I live in such a not a bad neighborhood. I live in a really good neighborhood, but it's like a bad, like 50% of the people at the store are not wearing masks. And they're the type of people, no offense, but they're just like, just not, this is not, I need to move, basically. We all know that. So I'm working on it. And so I don't like shopping there. I literally don't like, and this is across the street. I live like right on the other side of the road from a grocery store. And that's, like people are just nuts up here. So I would prefer to shop down in town. It's like suburb of Phoenix because people really obey the mandate. Like we actually do have a mandate here, but half this town does not care. They do not care at all. They think it's ridiculous. So anyway, so I like to not be bothered with it. I don't like to have bad thoughts about people as I'm walking through the store. I try not to, but it's really hard. We have a lot of elderly people that live here. This is a snowbird. This is an older town. And I'm just like, whatever. And months ago, I didn't wear a mask for a while because I understood the law of attraction. And I understood, like I didn't not wear a mask because of political reasons or because I thought it was fake or anything like that, or I thought that masks don't work or whatever. It was just like, I really have a good understanding of the law of attraction, and everybody who attracts it, it's a whole thing. Anyway, but I wear it because it's mandated. I wear it because it's part of the solution. I wear it because Abraham says it's a good idea to do it because it's part of the solution. It's part of the belief of if we wear it, we're going to go into a better direction. That's all I say about that. So, anyway, so I bought my stuff and I got through line and I came home and, I got everything I needed, but that's what I'm talking about. Like receiving, not being, so part of like the thing that I talk about is like not being super stressed out or like not stressed out at all, but you know what I mean? Like super busy, super like time sensitive, time limited, everything's structured, all of that. Like to allow source to guide you, you really need to have your mind relaxed. You really need to allow the time. You need to allow the time. Like everything's perfect. Everything's, in good timing, and go through your day relaxed because time is elusive anyway. Time is just, So anyway, so that's my message for today. I'm going to let you go because I'm going to do one more and then I'm going to go do something else, like have dinner or something. So have a great rest of your day, and I will talk to you again tomorrow. Bye, guys.